Good evening, good morning, good night, YouTubers. Mike Martin's here. Mike Martin's channel. I'm wearing my Hurricanes jersey tonight because I want to do a really good Florida housing crisis video tonight for you guys, for all you Floridians living down in Florida, Central, South, and North Florida, and Panhandle, Florida. I lived in Florida for a good piece of my life. Had a good time down there. Owned a company. I applied for citizenship by the book, but then was declined. I was going to do everything by the book, hire a bunch of people, and yeah, but I was declined. So it's okay, no big deal. So we got housing concerns for the state of Florida, and I really need to house these concerns or bring up these concerns because I remember in 2000, in the tail end of or beginning of 2007 until the tail end of 2007. The amount of lock boxes on apartments and condos, the amount of foreclosure posters, like these big posters in white and then red lettering by the sheriff and blah, 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 and putting lock boxes on doors. It was just phenomenal. The amount of foreclosures that were happening. It was almost like a sport. It was almost like it was a sport. That's how it was. It was like, what the heck's going on here? You know what I'm saying? And everyone's losing their properties. It's out of control. 5 reasons for housing concerns in Florida. This was posted a few days ago. Floridians are spending more than the recommended 30% of their income on housing. In South Florida, Orlando, housing affordability for low to moderate income workers is a bigger issue than ever. Waitress Amy Martinez, associate editor of Florida Trend. According to the report, the top reasons for the shortage of workforce housing, an issue faced by several communities in Florida, as follows: increasing population. With the state adding 335,000 people every year, the rate which the population of Florida has grown resulted in higher demand for housing of all types. The population is expected to grow further to 6.5% to 21.5 million in 2020. Now, the reason why Florida is exploding at the seams right now, because you got a lot of people mass exiting New York, Rhode Island, Providence. You got people leaving Chicago, Illinois. You got people leaving those states and heading south to more affordable or better opportunity. Rising interest rates. Rising interest rates have further increased the monthly cost of purchasing a home. Low to moderate income workers are especially affected by the rise of interest, remain cost burden. According to the Florida Policy Institute, 36% of Florida households are paying more than 30% of their incomes. Guys, if you're watching this down in South Florida, thank you. But here in Vancouver, the city I used to live in here in Canada, it's like 70-80% of the person's income here. So it's really bad. You know your typical little Florida bungalow that you see, those little short homes and stuff that you guys sell for like 90 to 150,000 down there, depending on the area. Well, in Vancouver, that house is $2 million. In Sydney, that house is $2 million. Sydney, Australia. So they don't have it as bad as other cities do. So 30% of their incomes for housing, including mortgage or rent, utility taxes, insurance, and neighborhood or condo association fees. Nearly 20% of Floridians are spending more than half their incomes on housing. Surging median house values. So this is what happened when I was down in Florida. I noticed the condo I was in was valued at about $85,000. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on a lake in a private community. And then it went up to like $150,000 in the matter of like 6 months. Median home values far outpacing the rent rates due to the increased demand of new residents. This upward trend was far-reaching impact on affordability for low-wage workers, making it difficult for them to own a home and driving demand for affordability rental housing. Only 31 affordable rental units are available for every 100 renters, who makes 30% the median income in the area, the report indicated. Declining lower-cost housing units. Restrictions on local land use and impact fees have led increased construction costs, preventing developments of smaller, lower-cost housing units such as apartments, mobile homes, and mother-in-law suites. The sample of fair market rent in the modest 2-bedroom apartment is 1,351 in Miami, and 1,387 in Fort Lauderdale, and 1,422 in West Palm Beach, reported the state. Top 5 expensive areas in Florida, hourly wage needed to afford the average apartment. So Monroe County hourly is $29.12 an hour. West Palm Beach is $27.35 an hour. Fort Lauderdale is $26.6 an hour. Miami is $25.98 per hour, and Naples is $23.46 per hour. So, okay, this is in the news now. So then you get a little bit of positiveness in the. So what's happening right now in Florida is prices are crashing, and I'm having a really hard time finding anything in Tampa, anything in Sarasota, anything in Tallahassee. I'm having a really tough time finding any good material so I could read on what's happening in Florida. But why is it becoming such a huge burden to find anything? So I only found this, and condos and townhouses sales totaled $9,270 per month. Florida's looking good, blah blah blah. Prices on the incline, blah blah blah. But I'm going to be the black swan, and I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. Because let's go back to February 7th, 2009. In Florida, despair and foreclosures. This is what happened, people. Desperation has moved into this once middle-class suburb of Fort Myers, where hammers used to pound. Its straight-ahead stare was hidden amid the chatter of 221 families waiting for free bread at the Faith Lutheran Church on a recent Friday morning, and it appeared a block away a few days earlier as laid-off construction workers in flannel shirts scavenged through the trash bags at a foreclosure home, grabbing wires, CDs, anything that could be sold. I knew it was coming, said Gloria Charleston, 56, the former owner of the house, as she watched strangers pick through her belongings. You take what you can, you try not to care. Welcome to the American dream in high reverse. Leah Acres is one of the countless sprawling exuberance of housing boom drastically reshaped, and now the bust is testing whether experience of shattered struggling will put people together or tear them apart. So, this is it here, guys. 221 families waiting for free bread in Fort Myers, Florida. Lots of retirees there. And foreclosure. Let's go back. Where are we here, guys? August 5th, 2008. In 2005, the height of Florida housing boom, WCI Communities Inc. posted a profit of $186 million and sales of $12.6 billion. In 2005, the height of Florida's housing boom, WCI Communities Inc. posted a profit of $186 million and sales of $2.6 billion. Fast forward 6 months this year, not this year as in 2018, but this year as in like 2008. Yeah, 2008. Making it one of the largest Florida's-based casualties of housing downturn. The builder, Tidewater Preserve, the Waterfall and Manatee County reshaped the profits of hydrocharged Florida real estate market in recent years, only to find heavy reliance on high-end buyers turned out for boon to bane. It's the sign of the times. A residential housing consultant based in Tampa who publishes reports they were a victim of this market, just like up until a couple of years ago. They were a beneficiary on the market. The slowdown has been so severe, it has hurt a lot of strong companies, including WCI. So here it is, people. Laid off 575 workers, and 37 subsidiaries filed for bankruptcy. So this is what's happening, people. This is what's happened. And you know what? It's going to happen again. Why? Because we are not learning from our original mistakes. Foreclosures up a record 81% in 2008. Filings continue to soar through the end of the year, and there's no relief straight into 2009. U.S. foreclosure filings spiked 81% in 2008. Record, according to a report released Thursday, and they're up 225% compared to 2006. A total of 861,000 families lost their homes. 861,000 families lost their homes to foreclosure last year, according to Realty Track, which released its end report Thursday, where more than 3.1 million foreclosure filings issued during 2008, which means that 1 in every 54 households received a notice last year. And despite the efforts, in part, of both government and banking industry, the quell of housing crisis defaults continued to climb as 2008 came to an end. Foreclosure filings were up 17%. This is pretty bad. So this is very important that people understand that. California took a hit, 44,000 again in December, probably because banks caught up with many of the proposed notices. Florida, 80% of homeowners who miss a payment end up in foreclosure, according to the MBA. That's much higher percentage than the past. Worst hit areas. The three states the hardest foreclosure in 2008 were Nevada, Florida, and Arizona. In Nevada, 7% of homes received foreclosure filings, such as notice, default auction sale, notice to foreclosure sale, during to the year up 126% from 2007. Florida filings soared 133%, hitting more than 4.5% of all households, while Arizona filings jumped 203%, also about 4.5% California, and the highest number of filings in the state, 523,000. Guys, this is very important because a lot of this stuff ends up repeating itself. State Farm to stop insuring Florida. State Farm Florida says it will no longer renew policies for 1.2 million customers after regulators denied requests for 47% rate hike and a hurricane-prone state. So a lot of people were having a hard time in that time insuring their property because nobody wanted to insure them. As Condo Rise in South Florida, nervous investors try to flee. This is from May 26, 2007. Again, Miami, May 25th, dozens of condominium towers conceived during Florida's real estate boom near completion. So there's a real estate boom in Sydney, Toronto, Vancouver, Auckland, London, that were basically broke ground during the boom. Now they're coming to closure and they're coming to ready. Let's go. We're ready to go. Everybody ready to move in? Dozens of condominium towers conceived during the Florida's real estate boom near completion. Investors who snatched up units in a pre-construction phase in hopes of turning a quick profit are increasingly trying to break contracts, even in walking away from fat deposits. Motivated sellers are flooding the online forums like Craigslist with advertisements for condo units still months or years from being finished, and lawyers have been inundated with calls from people hoping to avoid closing on units they bought during the speculative craze of 2004-2005. I get 2-3 calls a day, said James Ryan, a lawyer of Boca Raton, who said he held 40 clients looking to get out of a condo contracts. Mr. Ryan had abandoned a $340,000 deposit rather than close a $1.6 million unit. Lost its appeal in as the market flattered. The numbers suggest that it would only get worse. In Miami-Dade County, only 8,000 new condo units will be completed this year, nearly 12,000 more than 2008. So it was a supply and demand issue down in South Florida. I remember this very well, and it was a huge supply and demand issue. There wasn't enough going up, so they went nuts. Builders went nuts. Contracts went up, and everybody tried to get out towards the end. Builders collapse devastates the Florida community. Again, this is from 2010. Like many other baby boomers, decided to move to southern Florida in search of retirement paradise. She thought she found it when she heard Cascades River Hall 55 and over community being built outside of Fort Myers. She got in the ground floor and moved in before most of the other homes and amenities were built. So a lot of people went into Florida after 2010, to try and strike up a deal. Home prices in record plunge. This is from 2009. So I read this one, actually, the widespread of homes. And Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Florida, which has the third highest rate of foreclosure filings in the nation, prices fell devastating 50% for the year, 110,900. from 225,000. That's what I'm saying. The average home was like 110,000, and then it went up to 225, and that was the plunge. It went down to 110 from 225. So what is happening, people? This is what's happening, and I was there, like, there in Florida, seeing this happen before my eyes, and the amount of posters on doors from the sheriff, and the amount of foreclosures and people lining up for bread and water. It's phenomenal. All middle class, too. It's phenomenal. So I wanted to bring this in-depth report, a little bit of a historical look. And I kind of wanted to throw this out there because it's very important that people understand what's happening. And a lot of people could learn on what happened in Florida. And let me know what you guys think. If you're down in the Sunshine State, let me know. Comment below. Where is your area? And if you want to be on my show, Trends in the Housing Market, on Wednesday night, add me to Skype. My Skype is Mike Martins 1980. Just leave me a message on why or what's going on in your area, and I'd love to have you on the show so you could discuss what is happening in your neck of the woods. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.